Looks like it's time to go, so let's go. Hello! We're doing painting today, which I'm excited for. Alright, I will need to grab my colors out though. So I'm working on a piece that I started a long time ago. I started this like years ago. And it's one of those ones where I just haven't gotten back to it. But I kind of made this piece so that it could be done like that. Because kind of the point of the piece is that it's all sorts of little squares that I'm filling in at different times. So I can just do one at a time, and even if my style changes or something, it'll be fine. Do I have an open cobalt blue? Oh, there's the ultramarine blue, which is what I was looking for. Pull that out. Pull that out. Probably should have pulled out. There's an open cobalt blue. Probably should have pulled everything out before. I also have this cobalt blue. We'll pull that out as well. Oh, and here's an open ultramarine blue. Perfect. We may or may not have to come back in here for some of these colors. But now at least I have my blues and a brown and a couple blacks, or a black and a white. There we go. So the plan for today, I'll show you kind of what's going on with this piece so far. So the goal of this piece is to kind of recreate one sort of famous artist's kind of work with a bunch of other famous artists' work. I'm not planning on selling it or anything, so I'm not too worried about it. So I've done a Van Gogh and a Klimt, and I'm trying to do it kind of in the style of Mondrian. So I want to do the Great Wave of Kanagawa. I think that's what it's called. And here I'll show you what the plan is here. So here's the artwork, because I'm trying to go for like famous, or just, I don't know, pieces of art that are recognizable or that sort of thing. And I don't know, this is just one of the ones that I always think of when it comes to art. But like these other ones, I'm kind of just doing like little excerpts of them. So I'm not even gonna do the recognizable wave part, but I'm gonna do this part because I want that blue. Because if you've ever looked up a Mondrian painting, it's all sorts of different like rectangles and stuff, and then there's primary colors in some of those rectangles. The other ones are white, and so I want to get some of my primary colors in there. So that's why I have my blue heavy Van Gogh over here, my yellow heavy Klimt over here. Although I feel like this stuff is actually more like gold heavy, but yeah, I want to do that little excerpt from the Great Wave of Kanagawa, and I'm going to put it in this one, which is why I have the camera positioned like it is. Yeah, we'll see if I finish this today or not. It looks like that's about halfway. I'm just going to sketch out a little bit what we're doing here. So I'm kind of looking at this in comparison to the size here. So, you know, it's about halfway that this comes down. It's about halfway that this happens over here, where it kind of connects. I feel like it doesn't quite. Let's go right in there, I think. And then there's this here, and then there's like a mountain in the background. And actually, I think that mountain should be a little bit taller, because I need to put a boat in front of there as well. Yeah, the boats add a little bit of, just trying to block in kind of my main shapes here so I can find everything when I go to paint this over. I might need to move this over a little bit. Yeah, I think this needs to actually be closer to here, so it's a little bit kind of elongated. That looks closer to the real thing. I should have grabbed an eraser. I'm not too worried about pencil lines because I'm going to paint over it, but I don't want to confuse myself. Okay, so this kind of comes off. So this is kind of in here, it kind of comes off and up. I'm just going to try and get the shapes here. Yeah, I think that's alright. No, that's not right. This is too far over. That's my problem. I'm like, why does this look wrong? It's because it kind of goes up like this, and I have that lump there. Oops. For reference again, I'm just doing like this little section here. So I'm trying to get kind of this middle bit here in the correct spot. I've made it too big, I think is my issue. There we go. That's a little bit better. It might be a little bit far up, but that's okay. And then this kind of wave kind of comes up in the middle, and there's a boat. And it's kind of covered by that wave a bit. And then there's like some people here, but we'll get those in when we get all the details in. Alright, and then there's one more boat over here. Oops, not quite at that angle. Ooh, that's the wrong angle. It's a little bit flatter than that, because I wanted it kind of a slightly different. There we go. It's kind of that shape there, I think. There's going to be a little bit of futzing with that, I'm sure. Just like some things come down here. Okay, I think I've got my basic shapes in here. There's definitely, you know, other things here, because there's all of this, like the foam. Yeah, kind of shaped like that. Those are like that. These are very flat colors, I've noticed. I don't know, I like so completely different from the Van Gogh over here, where it's a lot of like very mixed and fluid colors. This is very flat colors. To be fair, I think it's a different medium, so that makes sense, but it looks like it's like watercolor, which would make sense, I guess, for like when and where it's from. But we're doing it with acrylics, because this whole thing's going to be acrylics. To be fair, I think the Klimt over here, I think it actually had gold, like not like the metal, but like the color actually had gold in it, and I just kind of faked it with yellow and white and stuff. So, you know, this is all representational. It's not, you know, exactly the same or anything. Okay, so I think I have kind of a basic understanding of the shapes. There's going to be a lot of probably this cobalt blue. It seems to be the closest to the really dark blue in the waves. There's like that really dark blue in there. So I'm figuring we're probably going to end up using quite a bit of that. And then we'll probably, not the cobalt blue, the ultramarine blue. We'll probably bring some of the cobalt blue in for some of these lighter blues, because I feel like this will match, that mixed with some white will match that almost better. Let me see here though. I have to remember how to paint. It's been so long. Don't do this at home. Don't use your teeth. It's bad. This stuff is probably poisonous. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, let's see here. Yeah, this even is not like dark enough, and it's a little bit too bright. So I think I'm gonna add a little bit of black to it. And normally I wouldn't use like black, but in this case, I feel like it will help kind of mute the color a little bit. You saw nothing. So I just want a little tiny bit. It looks like I've mixed some blue and some black before. Let's see if we can get the correct color. I think I added way too much black. To be fair, I might want to do this and then add some white almost. That would mute it, but I think that might mute it too much. Man, you know, so this is all acrylic. There's like acrylic and oil paints, and I've always done like acrylics before until I took a painting class like a little more than a year ago, at which point I did oils for the first time. And like they're so completely different, and the main difference is that oils stay wet a lot longer. Like acrylics, you know, things dry in like 30 seconds, whereas oils, they cure in like 2 weeks. And so there's pros and cons to that, and like you do kind of different techniques and stuff. I feel like oils and acrylics are completely different things. Like I didn't realize how different they were until I tried oils for the first time. But man, they're so completely different. But one of the things I do like about oils is that the paints on my palette stay, you know, the right, they stay wet, I guess. They don't dry out on the palette. I'm gonna add some of this blue. This is kind of a cooler blue, I feel like, but it's a little bit brighter too. It might mix well with the black. Yeah, so there's, I don't know, there's just kind of pros and cons. There's stuff that you can mix with oils to make them cure a little bit faster. And apparently that's a thing too. Like oil paints don't dry, they actually cure. But like resin doesn't dry. It does when it solidifies. It's not drying. It's two chemicals reacting with each other. Yeah, that's getting closer actually. I added way too much black, but something I do, yeah, things drying on my palette is always kind of a pain. I'll move this over here a little bit easier to see. Still a little bit dark. Still a little bit dark. Should I add? Well, add a dollop of the lightest blue that I have. Just a little tiny bit though. Just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than that. Alright. Mix that in. It's like a little bug. Switch that. Alright. You know, I think this is maybe why I do so many, like, very brightly colored things. I tend to do, like, I feel like a lot of my art ends up very saturated. Here, I have a couple of paintings here I can show. Like that one. Like, look at how bright those colors are there. And I think it's because I avoid mixing paint where I can. Like, color matching is just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, it's still too dark and it's too cool, I think. It's just slightly too cool of a blue. Too cool for blue. Yeah, that one, like even this one, I don't know, I just use very bright colors. Which, I mean, to be fair, this kind of works out for that since I'm trying to do various primary colors, but getting those primary colors exactly how I want them is the real task here. You know, No, I need this a little bit cooler. Not cooler, a little bit warmer actually. I want this a little bit more purpley. Like I feel like this blue is a little bit closer. We're gonna add a bunch of that. This one's rather dark though. So I might end up adding just the barest amount of like fuchsia in here to make it a little bit more purpley. But let's see how this works first. It is satisfying to mix paint though, I must admit. Like there is something about getting all those colors mixed together. Yeah, this is still too dark and too cool. I think maybe I muted it too much with the black. That might be part of my issue. So here, just a second. Let me wipe off my palette knife. I might steal some of this. I might steal some of this. I might try mixing that with just a little bit of this. Not nearly as much of that black and other colors. Yeah, I feel like maybe that's why, I don't know, I feel like oil paints come in smaller tubes than acrylics do. And I think it's probably because they kind of spread better, partially because they don't dry as much. Like acrylics dry so fast that they don't have time to just be spread around. Yeah, I think that's a little bit closer. Actually, that's really close. Yeah, okay, so I just needed more of that blue. I added too much black. It kind of muted the color a little bit too far. I wanted this brighter blue. I do think I'm going to need more though, so we're going to do that, and we're going to add a bunch more blue. I do like that more muted blue though, but yeah, it's just not what I'm going for. Let's see how this looks. Once we get that, I'll start blocking in some of these dark blue areas. I probably should try to avoid the white areas because I found that that's harder to, like, I don't know, paint. It's harder to get the white to be opaque over the darker colors. Maybe I should start with the lighter colors, but there we go. I think that's a better blue. That's a better blue. We're gonna go with that. And that's kind of a mix of our dark blue and some of the other ones and some black. Move my mouse. My mouse is in the way. Cool. So let's figure out where some of this stuff goes. That seems like a reasonable brush. So let's see here. I guess the real question is, do I want to get I want it to match all these little oh good, there is a middle support here. There's all these like little tendrils that are the sea foam, and so I don't want to, I don't know, I want to get those right. So I think I'm going to do some outlining in our dark blue, because it is actually outlined in the dark blue. But let's see, this is kind of a curl here. You know, it's always such like a, you know, I don't know, to be fair, this is a project that I'm not really doing for anybody else. I'm just doing this for myself. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not planning on selling it or anything, but like, where's the line of like plagiarism? Because I'm not like directly copying. I am directly copying, but I'm not copying the entire painting of someone. But, you know, where's the line on that? Also, it's like, I don't know, this isn't a new piece by any means. This is, like I said, this is one of the ones that I just always think of when I think of art, I guess. I'm trying to trace. I'm gonna grab an even smaller brush if I have one. I might not. This won't work. It's like, at what point is it okay to start using someone else's work? Because, you know, there's all sorts of, like, people have made, like, there's all sorts of, like, classical art that people will reference heavily in their art, and it's like, at what point is that okay, I guess? Oh, I hear a kitten. I hear a kitten out there. Oh man, so many little squigglies. Yeah, alright. Man, it's almost hard to concentrate on streaming at the same time as trying to match all of these lines up. I guess, to be fair, I don't need to do it exactly the same, but I want it to be, even though I don't have like the most iconic part, which is the giant wave itself, I do want it to be kind of recognizable as what it, you know, what it's based on. So let's yeah, and I don't have the angles quite right here. That's often my problem I've found. I don't know, like perspective and, not perspective, well, perspective, but proportion and like angles and stuff. That's why I'm bad at drawing people, is because if you get like the proportions just slightly off, it looks wrong. So I'm just you know, I'm not precise enough, I guess, to get those proportions exactly right. Alright. I think that might be a little bit too... No, actually we might be okay. That might be a little bit small, to be honest, but that's okay. That is okie dokie. Just gonna fill in a couple of these spots here. Alright, so there's some blobs of the dark blue here. And that's closer to the right size. So let me maybe get that up a little bit. Yeah, I think I could go a little bit bigger with my stuff. This part is okay, and then I think I could just go up a little bit further here. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of add this so it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, because that's what I'm talking about, like proportion and stuff too. I'm like, does this look right compared to this other thing? It's like, in this case, no, it's just a little bit too small there. A little too small there, Liz. Okay. Let's make this a little bit more the my paintbrush is falling apart. It is good to be painting again, though. I feel like it's been so long since I've done some painting. I just never make time for it, you know? I'm always doing resin stuff, because that's the stuff I need to do for, like, my job. But I do love painting. And I've mentioned it before on stream, I think. Like, painting's probably one of my favorite things to do, but I never want to do it as a job, and I realized why. And that's because I don't want to have to try and make things that other people like. I just want to make things that I think are fun to make, even if they aren't pretty. Like, I have a series of paintings that I did a while back, and like, they are super ugly, but that was kind of the point of them. Like, I wanted them to be kind of ugly, but it was just kind of an exploration of what I could do with the canvas. And so, like, if, you know, I feel like that stuff is you know, good to do stuff that's just exploring and trying something, and I like doing that with resin too. But there's, I don't know, there's just something about yeah, that boat needs to move up a little bit, I think. It's gonna be a little bit smaller, actually. Okay. Okay, some of these I can fill in, because they're just this blue color. All of these little sections here. Let's see, and then there's gonna be some lighter blue in a couple of these sections. But let's see here. I'll fill this in as much as I can. I might leave kind of some of those lines so that I know where I want them later. Very, very thin though, because I don't want to have to go back in with this color again. I might anyways, but it'll just make it easier if I don't have to. This way I can just add that other color, overlap in the dark blue a little bit. Let's see here. That's this one. That one, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't have everything correct proportionally, but I kind of expected that. Some of these lines are kind of in the wrong spots, but that's okay. And these will actually need to be a little bit more curved. But I want to leave a spots that I know where I'm putting them. Oh, that's why I'm missing them. That's okay. Let's see here, and then this. I do have about 4 hours that I can work on this today. I do have somewhere I need to be at 5, but that does give quite a bit of time. Quite a bit of time. We'll see how far we get though. I've never really paid attention too much, I guess, to how long painting takes me. Because it's always been one of those things where either I've just had enough time to do it and I've worked on it without paying attention to it, or I've, like, you know, I took a painting class not too long ago, like I was saying, in which case, like, it didn't matter how long it took me because I needed to work on it, and so I just worked on it. So I don't know. We'll see how far I get in 4 hours, or whenever I start getting tired of painting a dark blue color everywhere. Let's see here. Let me get. Alright, and then we have one more kind of right in here. got our first bit of the dark blue filled in. I have some weird lines in there at the moment, but we're going to add our lighter blue and then like our kind of offish white, bluish white dots and stuff on top of that. So I think that's good. Let's move over here. Start figuring out maybe around the boat here. Yeah, so I don't know that the size that I have here is exactly the same as the size of my canvas and everything. I kind of just eyeballed it, so if things end up being a little bit different, that's fine. Let's get the angle here right if I can, though. And a little bit of a lump, a lumpy lump. And that. Alright, this kind of goes out this way a bit. Got kind of a lumpy lump of the dark blue. Yeah, we have some of that lighter blue in here as well. But let me... Alright, I'm just trying to get the boat kind of figured out. Because the boat's going to be kind of in here-ish. Blue right here. Okay. Oh man, it's a quiet day. Quiet day. Where's everybody at? Alright, let me kind of outline the boat here, just so that I know where to not paint this dark blue. Yeah, it's not quite right, but... And then there's like people here. And there's a wave. Yep, the wave continues there. Okay. The people kind of disappear behind that. Alright, let's get our other dark blues here then. How do I do this? So kind of coming from where people are, I want to paint where the people are. Alright. I'm going to kind of follow this boat, and we're going to fill in some kind of soft bluish shapes here. I'm going to have to change how some of these, the wave is angled and everything, but that's okay. Okay. Alright, and then that's very long. And this kind of comes up here. Kind of using the wrong brush for this, I think, but that's okay. Like, you're not supposed to like paint like you're writing, but I've heard that, but I don't know if I've ever been taught the correct way to do it. Which, I mean, what am I supposed to do then? Let's see here. More dark blue. More dark blue. More dark blue. I think there's a little bit kind of off the side here. I'm gonna have to think about what I want to do on this side. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. All right, I'm going to end up kind of outlining where some of these waves are in the dark blue. Because I need some new outlines because I kind of messed this one up with this. So this kind of goes here. Kind of goes there. I can kind of follow some of the line from before. And yeah, we want to follow our shapes. Okay, it's not actually too much different from how I had it. Just kind of up a little bit. I'm going to need to change probably this wave here, just fine. There we go. There's the where we want it. And then let me get the mountain kind of figured out. Well, there's a boat here. Let's get the boat figured out. There's that boat. And that kind of goes there. Okay. Now I can figure out how the mountain goes. The mountain goes. Alright. Is this Mount Fuji? I don't know. I don't know what mountain this is. But there's a mountain back here. And it has some of the dark blue as well. So let's get that dark blue filled in. This is maybe kind of the nice thing about this one is that there's definitely fewer colors that I have to mix. Because it's mostly all the same. It's like a few different colors. Just a few different colors. And this I think needs to be a little bit more angled. There we go. That's better. Let's get the mountain done. Yeah, see what I'm saying about the paint drying really quick? That was probably my biggest problem in the painting class I took where I used oils for the first time. Was I kept putting my hands in them because I was so used to working with acrylics where it dries so fast that I can like set my hand down on the canvas again. Man, I ended up with so many of the oils just on my hands because I kept forgetting that they were still wet, and I would just automatically set my hand down where I needed it. There was something we talked about. We didn't actually use it, but we were talking about it in the class. What was that? It was basically like a way of setting it up so that you have like a stick that you can set your hand on, and then you can roll it so that you're above the canvas. But all right, there's the mountain. There's a little dot there. Little dots there. All right. Oh, here I missed. I need to add more dark blue here. Over by this boat. Haven't done that yet. And again, I'm just kind of leaving guidelines for where the light blue is going to be, because I would rather go over this dark blue a little bit. So I don't want to leave too big of gaps. But I will leave some spots that I can hopefully find where things are supposed to go. Okay. Well, there's that kind of figured out. Let's maybe move up here. So let me get this shape correct. And actually, I think we're ending up kind of more there. We're going to be cut off maybe a little bit more, which is okay. And a little bit of a lump here. All right, we do still have this boat. And let's see, there's some of that sea foam kind of crashing over the boat. Let's see here. Let's see if I can get this all in the right spot. Okay. And then we're going to follow the shape of the boat here. And I think the boat that I have kind of drawn in with pencil is about the right spot and everything, so it should be fine. I've had, I just realized that it's feeling a lot better. I've had a sore throat for a couple weeks now, but it's seeming okay. And the angle's kind of off. I think it's actually a little bit more up and down, but that's okay. Now, let's fill this in with, I've just put my finger, see, even though it dries so fast, I've just put my finger in it. Oh well. That's fine, it's gonna get painted over. Okay, there's that roughly. And continue our shapes here. Again, I'm just kind of outlining everything in this dark blue, which is maybe a poor decision, but because it's going to be a pain to paint over. Oh man, yeah, it's been so long since I started this project. I don't know how long ago that was. It was definitely years ago. Actually, I could probably figure it out because I think I have a photo of this on my Instagram, like my own personal Instagram, from a long, well, I barely even use my own personal Instagram anymore, so it's definitely a while ago. Let's see here. Where's the boat? Okay, I'm just making sure I have the boat there so that I don't end up with painting over it. We're gonna add our dark blue there. Oh man. Maybe it'll be a short one today. There's no one here. Well, I mean, I'm here. I'll go post in the Discord. Some of them HTTPS, like some like social medias and stuff require like the HTTPS and the www and everything for it to actually create a link, and some don't. Okay. There we go. Actually, I need this out. Why am I putting that away? I figured I'd mention it on Discord though. Alright. You know, it doesn't like look like much now, but it is coming together. I'm getting the shapes in. That's the hard part. Once we have all of the shapes where we want them, we can just fill in all the colors, because it's kind of like flat colors and stuff in this. Let's see here. And I'm probably going to go back and do some of this kind of like looking at it and making sure everything lines up stuff. After I move on to the next color and everything, but let's see here. No, I don't need notifications from YouTube. Thank you though. What was I saying? Oh, I'll go back and probably do some of this stuff. Make sure everything is looking everything is where it needs to be. But won't be. That seems like it's in slightly the wrong spot. But that's okay. I think that'll get kind of fixed later. There we go. Keep putting my hand in the wet paint. That's okay. That's okay. Here, I'm just trying to figure out, where was I? Here I am. I think I'm having enough paint, which is good too. You know, I have it's been so long since I made it, but I have a giant painting of a swirl, and it's one of my favorite things that I've made. And I think maybe one of the reasons it's like one of the favorite things I've made, I can't remember what I was listening to, it was like music or something, but I was still living at my parents' house, and I can't remember when it was. It must have been like during summer or something. Was I still in school? It must have been over a weekend actually, because like I was like, when was that? Because I might have still been in school, but when I was in high school I worked summers. But okay, so it must have been a weekend, but I remember spending just like 2 days and just sitting in the dining room and doing nothing but painting, and I just made that thing in 2 days. I don't know, there was just something. Yeah, my stuff's slightly off here. That's a little bit, it doesn't quite line up with the mountain quite right. I think this actually needs to go over a little bit more. The mountain needs to be over a little bit more. This is the wrong color to be doing this in. To doing all the outlines and finalizing. But man, I don't know, there's just something relaxing about painting. There's a certain amount of that, I guess, that is taken away by streaming. Not in a bad way, necessarily. But I feel like there's a certain amount of like attention you need to pay when streaming. So there's not, I don't just have like an audiobook on or whatever and this is the only thing I have to focus on. It's harder to get into the zone, I guess, while streaming. Just because I do actually have to pay attention to things. that are not just what I'm working on. But no, that painting, I just like got in the zone and just like worked on it for 2 days and then it was done. I don't know, it's very satisfying to finish something. Like, I don't know, maybe that's just me, but yeah, I definitely have that like that. That's okay. It is, I feel like, anything that you do, like whether it's for fun or for work or what, there's always like things that you're learning while doing them. And there's things that maybe you learn that you didn't expect to learn. Those are always the kind of interesting ones, I think. And I've talked about it with like dice making. There's lots of things that I've learned that, I mean, to be fair, some of them are things that I've learned that I feel like some people wouldn't consider, I don't know, skills to learn. Like how to schedule myself properly and actually keep a schedule. You know, that's something that's hard for me, but you know, other people will probably just be like, yeah, that's just a thing that you do. But you know, just like, I don't know, there's lots of like little business things that I've learned, having to figure out, I don't know, quarterly taxes and I mean, I was gonna say purchasing materials, but I've done that before. That used to be my job. It's actually something like, I don't actually like having to figure out what to get. That's always the worst. I'm just like, man, I don't know what the difference is between these two products. They look almost exactly the same to me. I don't know which one I need. But that's besides the point. Just communication skills, I guess. You know, I have to have good communication because, you know, a lot of what I'm doing is commissions and stuff. And, you know, if I don't have good communication, then that doesn't happen. And then there's things with the dice making too. Like I've learned how to make molds. It's not necessarily my favorite thing to do, but I know how to make them now, which is a skill that I didn't necessarily expect to learn. And I don't know, there's just lots of little things. I'm trying to think though, what have I learned from streaming? I think, I don't know actually. Like, I'm sure there's things, but I don't know if there's things that I can put into words properly. What have I learned from streaming? I think that it's made me more comfortable on camera, maybe, which I've talked about this before too. Being in front of a camera is not is not natural. Like if you're ever on camera for the first time, you will not know what to do with your hands. Like, to be fair, some people are probably naturals at it, but there's just like things don't feel quite right when you're on camera. Like, it is actually a skill that you have to work on. Well, most people have to work on. Like I said, maybe you're a natural. But like, so maybe just being more comfortable on camera. The way I explained it at one point is that being on camera is a bit like trying to act natural when you know someone's taking a photo of you. Is that same sort of being aware that you're being perceived. Yeah, I don't know, it's very similar to trying to act natural while you know someone's taking a photo of you. You know, there's all those like, smile, yeah, looks super fake. Oh, okay, I'm like, where am I? I'm missing something. I need to fill in this area here. I fill in this area here too. I don't know, so there's a certain amount of like getting used to that you gotta do. Man, I'm tempted, I think I might just fill this all in blue and figure out the lines here later. No, okay, I'll do it. For the most part. So there's that. I think there's that. Oh, hello. Oh, dear. Man, the only people that show up are bots. How unfortunate. And here I was hoping someone had popped into the chat. Because that's the fun part of streaming. The fun part of streaming is chatting with people. I think it has. I did a voice acting class, which was online, which was quite a bit of fun. I feel like there's some stuff that has transferred there. Like I've gotten used to talking for long periods of time, which I mean, I've never had difficulty talking for long periods of time. Let's be honest here. But like, there's I don't know, like you kind of build up endurance a little bit, I guess, maybe when you start doing stuff where you talk for long periods of time. Because I've done 6-hour streams or whatever, and you know that could get tiring on the voice, tiring on them vocal cords. But maybe that's a skill that I've picked up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and kind of count where some of those things are. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I've learned how to be entertaining. That's definitely true. But you know that was never gonna happen. This is unrelated to that. I did finally add a link in my about section to the YouTube where I have all my VODs. Speaking of being entertaining, so that does exist now. There is a spot. I'm just gonna fill that in, and I'll fill it in with the lighter blue separately. Okay, I think we've got most of our dark blue in now. Yeah, we've got our dark blue. Let's see, what color should we do next? Maybe our slightly lighter blue. Here's the question, are those the same? No, they're not. Okay, so there's actually two different lighter blues, it looks like. There's the one that's in the water, and it's actually a little bit darker than the one that's in the waves. And I'm looking at this point, oops, right here. You can see there's that darker blue color that matches the one in the water, but it's darker than the stuff up here in the foam. I guess I could do, yeah, let's do the blue. Let's do the next darkest blue. So I'll grab my white. We're gonna find out, oh, is this white not good anymore? I think, oh, this white is the one has a broken cap. So this white might not be good. I have another white, so we'll be okay, but yeah, I'd say this white's maybe a little bit dry. Might be able to work with that. It's like a paste. It's not so dry that it's not malleable. It's like a paste. Okay, I think maybe I want some of this blue, which was the dark blue that didn't quite match. Because I feel like that was a little bit cooler. Yeah, I'm gonna grab my white that's actually still good. grab my still good white. Got a big thing of white. I don't know, it's one of those colors that just gets used so much. Although I think this one, yeah, just like, I don't need as much as it's going to try and give me. Okay, there we go. This thing will put so much white onto the palette at once. Alright. So let's grab some of this. Maybe this is too cool. Maybe I do want the slightly warmer blue. Yeah, this is too cool. I do actually want too cool for school. Yeah, I do actually want the somewhat warmer blue. Let's just mix some of that in and see what happens. Ah, yeah, palette knife. I don't know. Maybe this is actually... Actually, I think I want it to be more... Maybe I want it to be cooler. Not cooler necessarily, but I want it to be more greenish. Okay, just a second. I'm gonna put this over here for now. So I think what I want actually is I want this blue with some white. This one's maybe this one. I want the color that's on the container here. What's this one look like? Ah. Let me try a little bit of this. If I need to, I'll pull out some like yellow and just give it a slight tint. I feel like this is almost a little bit more yellow. Let me do a little dollop of this. And let me get some more of the white to mix in there. And hope that this is a little bit closer to the blue, because that's almost too purple now, which is not what I want. I think this might be... Yeah, I think this might be a little bit closer. I think I'm going to need a little bit more white though. Yeah, so this might be, I don't know, this might be, it's almost still not, yeah, it's still almost not green enough. I think I'm going to need to add the tiniest amount of yellow imaginable. Just a second here. There's a cat hair in there, as there must be, because this is my studio space. Alright, let me find, oh actually here, we're going to add the tiniest amount of this tealy sort of green, and I really do mean the tiniest amount. Let's see if that fixes the color a little bit. I think I want it leaning a little bit more on the just a little bit more on the green side. I guess we'll find out. Okay, maybe I didn't add enough, but oh, just a second, I didn't have all of it there apparently. I think I could use a little bit more green. But I think that is going the right direction. I think the green is headed the right direction. So let's add just, again, the tiniest amount of green. I'm just trying to push that blue a little bit more towards green. I don't actually want green. I don't want teal, I don't want green. I just want it kind of a slightly more greenish hint, like tone to the blue. And we'll see if this pushes it in the right direction. I think we're headed there. I think this could be maybe a little bit more muted. So we might add some of the, I know that it's going to push it cooler again, but we might add a little tiny bit of like that dark blue-black, because that'll mute it down just a little bit, and then I'll add some more white. It's actually still a little bit too purpley. Well, let's add that tiny bit of the like black and see if that helps tone it down just a little bit. Because I want to make it a little bit more muted. And I mentioned this earlier, like, I don't know, I don't usually do muted colors. A lot of my artworks are like very bright, bold, like primary color type things. That's okay. We're gonna mix that in. We're gonna mix some more white in, and we're gonna mix a little bit more green in, because I'm headed in the right direction on that front, but it's still just a little bit too of a cool blue. All right. Gotta get paint on my fingers at some point. All right. So let's add a little bit of the white. A little bit of the white. I'm trying to get a light blue that's just a little, and then we're gonna add a little bit of green as well. So there's some white. So I do want this fairly light. And a little bit of our green over here, because it's still just slightly too purpley. Just slightly too purpley. I want it a little bit more greenish. I should just have streams that are completely silent, except for the sounds of mixing paint. Just close-ups of paint mixing. I feel like those videos have gone out of fashion a little bit, but man, I don't know. I always liked the paint mixing videos. Just like, ooh, I want to see what the color turns out. There's something satisfying. The ones where like people would like cut up different shapes and stuff, those always like, I don't know, those always gave me like a little bit of not anxiety, but it's just like, no, why are you destroying the thing? Okay, let's see if this is a little bit closer. I have my reference image here. That's looking maybe a little bit closer. It's almost still it's almost still a little bit too, I don't know what it is. It's almost still like a little bit too cool, I think. I think I need more green still. Oh, hi! How are you? It has been a while. It's good to see you, though. I'm not even doing resin today. I'm doing paint. That's probably too much green. Let's not do that much green. I'm trying to get things just the right color, which is always difficult. Man, I like painting. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I don't know. I always enjoy painting, and it's been a while since I've done any, so I'm excited to do some. I'm trying to get the right color. I can show you what we're working on too. If you just got here. It's been a very quiet stream so far. I mean, not on my end. I'm always talking. Let's be real here, but I don't know. It's just been very quiet. Maybe it's the time of day. I don't know. All right. That's looking a little bit more greenish. Let me just make sure this is mixed, and I'll compare it to my reference image here. So, I am working on an art or a painting that I've been working on for years, or I started years ago. Oh, actually, that's pretty close. That's pretty close. It could almost be a little bit darker, but oh yeah, this is like the lightest color here. I actually need. I'm gonna mix some of this with some of the other blue, and that'll be our darker color. But yeah, I started this project years ago, and basically I'm making one famous painting out of a bunch of other famous paintings or artworks. And so, and actually I don't have a specific Mondrian that I'm copying, but here I can show you. So I'm trying to do a Mondrian painting, and I'm using other famous paintings as the primary colors squares in it. I'm still debating if I'm going to do famous paintings for the white squares too. But I'm doing kind of like excerpts from various well-known artworks, and using those to then create the painting here. And if you don't know who Mondrian is, if you Google it, you'll find exactly what I'm talking about. Today though, I'm doing a little section from the Great Wave of Kanagawa. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So I'm just doing this little section here in my little square here. So I'm trying to, and there's not a ton of colors in it, but I'm trying to get them correct. So I've gotten, I think, the lightest color here, but really I need there's kind of a medium tone blue that I need. But I think maybe I can mix some of this with some of my other blue over here, and that'll actually end up being about where I want it. Thanks! It's a work in progress. I'm excited for, I don't know, this is one of those ones where I'm like, I want to see how it turns out. I want to see how it turns out. This might actually work out well. This is kind of in between our lightest color and our darkest color. And actually it's still a little bit too, that's too purpley, and it's green. I guess that'll be the eternal struggle, is needs green, needs more green. This is acrylics. This is acrylics. I've done a little bit of oils. I did an art class a little bit more than a year ago. I did a painting class right before, well, I guess it was, yeah, more than a year ago, because it was right before the pandemic, the quarantine started, in which I used oils for the first time. I like oils, but they're so completely different from acrylics. Like, I don't know, people are just like, oh yeah, they're both painting, and it's just like, they're so different. I didn't realize how different oils and acrylics were going to be. Because like acrylics is like all about layering, sort of. Yeah, it's kind of all about layering. Because they dry so quickly, you paint one thing and then you come back to it and it's already dry. So then you layer another thing on top of it. Whereas with oils, they dry so slowly that it's more like sculpting. It's more like you put all of the various colors on the canvas and then you like push them into the location that you want them. It's very, I don't know, it's just very different. How's this? Still too, needed a little bit more teal still. I think I'd like to do some more oil stuff. I just need to get an idea for what I want to make. That's the thing. Like this, like I said, this is a art painting that I've had around for years. That's gonna be too much green, but oh well. We'll add a little bit more blue if we need to. This is a painting that I've had around for years. I started years ago. So, you know, I already had kind of a plan for it. I knew where I was going. This one was easy to pick up and do a square on and then set back down. And that was the whole point. Oh, with oils? Oils stay wet for like 2 weeks. Yeah, things do mix as you push them around. That's, and there's something fun about that too. Let's see. This one was oils. Yeah, this one was oils. It's not a great example. Do I have one of my, let me find, we did some landscapes. Yeah, no, like, to be fair, we used stuff that made it so that they dried in 24 hours. And actually, I guess they cure, they don't dry, but even then, like, man, so slow. I kept putting my hands in it. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you kind of push the colors around more than you actually, I don't know, add them. I mean, you add colors, but it's more. I equate oil painting to more like sculpting. It's more of like a sculpting process where you're kind of manipulating something solid and giving it a form. Oh, that's pretty good. It's actually not quite dark enough, though, I don't think. Oh, it's really close, though. Add a little bit more of our darker color. Yeah, but it's really fun, though. Like, I don't know. I like sculpting things. I think I would like to do oils again at some point, maybe for a stream or something. I need to, I think, get some liquid, which is what we used to make it so that it dried quicker. And again, when I say quicker, I mean in 24 hours instead of 2 weeks. Whereas with acrylics, you know, you have 30 seconds and then it's dry, depending on how thick the paint is, but yeah. I think it could be even a little darker still. Add more of that, and I think we're gonna have to add a little bit more green to do that, because that's kind of a cooler blue tone. Let me do this so I can actually get in here and mix this without putting my hand in the other paint. I don't know. I feel like that's probably close enough. This seems close enough to me. Hopefully I have enough paint here. I might not, actually. Add a little bit of water there. Hopefully keep this wet a little bit longer. That is something that I do like about oils, though, is that, like, they will stay wet on the canvas a lot longer. Stop set it aside for 24 hours after 5 minutes of painting. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That was something that I had to kind of train myself out of. I used to be, I don't know, very much like, when I was painting, I didn't want to be able to see the texture of the canvas. I wanted everything to be super, super, like, crisp. And so I kind of had to, but I loved things that were a little bit more messy. So I just practiced and stuff over time. Did a lot of stuff to kind of train myself into doing messier things. But yeah, I'm not a patient person either. So when it comes to oils, it's just like, All right, let's do some of this darker, this medium blue. We'll call this the medium blue because it is. And it's gonna kind of come into a couple spots here. yeah, doing, because like people do um oils where they have layers and stuff, but man, just the wait time in between is just like, oh man. I'm not patient enough to do like multiple layers in a set of dice, and that's just 24 hours. Can't imagine having to wait like 2 weeks in between painting sessions. Just using this little bit of paint that's on here, might as well get that used. Oh, actually, I think this color turned out pretty good. I feel like it's not quite right, but it's close enough that it'll work. But yeah, I don't know. I'll need to figure out what I want to paint. Because that's, you know, I like doing kind of like free, impromptu stuff. But even then, I usually have some sort of plan of what I'm going to paint. Like a basic shape or something. Not always, but... you know, colors, so I know what to pull out, and... okay, this needs to come from here. Yeah, I think this color works out just fine. Cool. This will work out just fine. Seen that one video where someone just globbed oil paint on a canvas and had to wait like 6 weeks for all of it to dry so they could touch it. Oh yeah, no, I love impasto. If you ever want to see paintings that have that like very thick paint, it's called impasto. And man, I love that stuff, but I always want to touch it. It's like, I'm always just like, I feel like I shouldn't go to art museums because I want to touch all of the paintings. I did that actually with, it's harder to do with acrylics, I feel like. I feel like they don't keep the same sort of shape that oils do. But I did that as a kid at one point with some acrylics. I just kind of globbed it on to like a whole bunch of, it was like, museum says no, but heart says yes. Like globbed a whole bunch of paint onto a canvas, and it was acrylic paint, so it didn't have quite the same texture. And literally the whole point of it was that I wanted to be able to touch it. Just like, and so I hung it up in the hallway, and I would just walk through the hall, and every time I went by, I would just like touch the painting. Just like, no one can stop me, I painted this. That'd be kind of cool to do, like paintings that are meant to be touched. And I'm sure that, you know, you probably shouldn't, because probably the oils on your hands and stuff are bad for it, but I want to touch the paintings. Maybe I'll do that at some point. I don't plan on having like an art exhibit, but if I did, just do like one where all the paintings are meant to be touched. Wait, what's a huge brain move? Just making a painting myself that I can touch? Or just doing like an art exhibit that's all tactile? Yes! Alright, fair. I should do a painting that is a fairly large painting. I'd probably do it in oils, and it would just be like a single color, but then it would have just say in big bold letters on it, please touch this painting. And then have like all sorts of different textures and stuff as the like background to the letters. Have the letters in like a different, or maybe do the letters in like a big bright color, and do a whole bunch of different textures of like a black or white or something as the background color. That might be cool. Let me get my lighter, my medium blue here where I want it. Maybe that'll be an oil painting project. Just a big canvas that just says please touch this painting with all sorts of different textures with the paint. Just because that's the kind of painting I'd want to see. Okay. Trying to get stuff in the right spot. So, have you thought of taking up acrylic painting again? You said you've only used acrylics and you haven't done it a ton. Cause like, I don't know. I know everyone likes different crafts. I don't do like a lot of textiles like some people do and all that sort of stuff. But man, I don't know, I just love painting. I love just putting colors and shapes onto a canvas. I'm wondering how much of this I can get done today. I do need to leave at like, probably hop off at like 4 p.m. Let's see, there was something on the East Coast when you were little, probably Philadelphia. It's called the Please Touch Museum, and you could go in and touch every single exhibit. It was for kids, but they had some cool stuff. Oh yeah, probably not open with COVID, that's a good point. Neat concept, once things are safe again. Yeah! Man, interactive art museums, I really want to go to like an interactive art museum of some sort. Like, I don't know, they all look so cool. I like interacting with things. You know, I love painting, but I like looking at sculpture more. And I feel like it almost feels more interactive because you move around it, like it exists within the space. That might be why. Okay. Haven't had the time or space to paint in ages, but maybe after you move. Ah, okay. Yeah. I think it was suggested at one point that I should do like a, oh, what do you want to call it? Like a paint-along thing. You know, I went to a thing that was just like, this was a long while ago. Not like you have a drink and like you follow the instructions that the person at the front is giving on how to paint a painting. I think it was suggested at one point that I should do something like that. And that seems like a fun idea. Don't know what exactly we'd all paint, but... Bob Ross mode! To be fair, we could just all follow a Bob Ross tutorial. Or I could just follow a Bob Ross tutorial. I don't know what the, sort of... Like, can I do that on Twitch? I don't know what the, like, copyright and stuff is on Bob Ross tutorials. Can I legally show a Bob Ross video on Twitch? I don't know. I don't know. Alright, we're gonna add some of this darker blue now up here. Well, medium blue, medium blue. They had one of those at college when you didn't want to paint a Christmas tree, so you painted a coastline for us instead. Oh yeah. Yeah, the one that I went to, excuse me. The one that I went to, like, I did kind of follow the instructions and everything, but, you know, I had to do something off book. So I think I added some more texture to it. We were doing like a cherry blossom tree, I think, over a lake. I'm pretty sure that's still at my parents' house. But I did the kind of impasto thing. Oh, there's a channel on here that streams Bob Ross? Yeah, I double check. Yeah. So that could be fun. Just follow a Bob Ross tutorial one of these days. And right here. Yeah, I have, this is slightly off proportionally, but that's okay. That's okay. Trying to get things just kind of, I just want it to be recognizable, you know. If it's not exactly the same, that's perfectly fine. I just want it to be kind of recognizable for what I'm trying to represent. Where is that? That's kind of here. That's the main thing. I want it to be understood what I'm trying to, what it's supposed to be. In this case, the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Just do this. There is a cat hair, which, I mean, there's got to be a cat hair at some point, right? And there's this, and this right here is all that light blue, and there's actually a couple of really thin lines of that light blue back here. Yeah, they're helping. Look, a whole new brush for me. And there. Alright, is that all of that medium blue? There's maybe a little bit in the mountain back here. Not really. Yeah, I think next is the lighter blue. I think the next is the lighter blue. Alright, how's this lighter blue looking? I might mix the lighter blue with this medium blue because it could actually be a little bit darker. It's pretty good. It could be just a tiny bit darker, and this blue I think has that same little bit of green to it, so we'll mix those together. Good enough. If you could make a brush out of cat hair, yeah, I don't see why not. I've seen people make them out of human hair before, like they cut their hair and turned it into a paintbrush. Maybe I'll try that at some point. I do still have some cat hair in a bag over here, which everyone seemed shocked by when I pulled it out and made a set of cat hair dice that one time, but to be fair, I did collect it for felting. Like, there was a reason that I collected it. I didn't just randomly have I did just randomly have a bag of cat hair, but there was a reason for it. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna need some of that darker blue. That's gonna be fun. Sorry, I'm trying to tell whether these spots are the white. Yep, it looks like the spots are the white. Well, I'll just fill this in. So my paint's kind of dry here. Like I said, it dries so quick. And I did that there. Yeah, this might be a little bit too bright, but that's okay. It wouldn't be my style if it wasn't a little bit too saturated. All of my stuff I end up doing super saturated. That's a me hair, that's not a cat hair. Okay, I think before I do that lighter color, I need to do the darker blue in all of the little tendrily foamy parts, which this will take a minute. Hopefully I have enough of this left over, now that I'm thinking about it. Alright. See if I can get this. I'm resting on there's like a middle bar to this painting. I'm trying to rest on that so I don't put my elbow through the painting. That would be bad. Alright, let's see. This is going to be kind of tedious, I think. This is going to be kind of tedious. Because I'm trying to match a whole bunch of lines here. Oh man. My brush will be thin enough for me. I need it to be very, very precise. This brush might not be precise enough. I left some of my super precise brushes upstairs because I've used them for dice stuff. This one might be nice. I'm gonna try this one. I'm gonna try a different brush. Pick up some of this blue. We'll see if this works. See if this works better. That's okay. Again, I just want this to be recognizable as what it's supposed to represent. So if it's not exactly right, that's okie dokie. But let's see, where do I want to start here? I think I'm going to start at the bottom here and work my way up, because if I start in multiple spots, I'm going to end up like off, because it'll just be slightly different and then they won't line up quite right. So I really need to just start in one spot and go from there. Man, okay. Yep, sorry, I'm going quiet for a second. I'm trying to focus here because I'm trying to get this perfectly right is probably not going to happen, but I'm trying to do my best here. Alright, so let's see here. This is kind of a... Oh, you know, I probably want to do my off-white first before I do this, and then do this on top of that off-white. Man, I'm doing this all out of order. Let me grab my white here. Do I want to just do white? Or do I want to do slightly off-white? Grab that. I think maybe we'll do dot. Doing a dot of this light blue here. I'll mix that into the white. Make it a slightly blue white. Kind of tie it to everything. There we go. But yeah, I should have thought of that first and actually put down the white paint. So let's do that. Seems like a good one. Okay. almost think it's almost like a maybe a yellowish off-white, but part of that is just the picture, probably the image that I'm doing this from. So let's just kind of cover all the areas that are white with some white. And I know the canvas is white, but I don't know. It just seems like good practice to, well, especially with all these pencil lines and everything, just cover those up. Kind of clean up some of these edges. Yeah, I can still see some of the pencil lines and everything through. I think I'm going to need to go back at some point and clean up all of the black edges too. There we go. I might leave some of the canvas color shining through. Just cover up some of these pencil lines. Get them out of here. But I want everything to blend. Oh, this will be good. It'll clean everything up, hopefully. But yeah, it does make sense to do the white before I do the really dark blue things that are little tiny fine details. I don't have to try and go around those with the white later. That would be, it's kind of annoying, I think. So let's do this color first. Gotta think of order of operations. I'm gonna have to do yellow for the boats as well. They have kind of a yellowish tint to them. Oops. That is the nice thing about acrylics, is they're water-based, and I can knock that little bit of paint off of the one area that I didn't want it. Alright, yeah. We definitely want it on the mountain over there, but let's do this little wave here first. Yeah, let's see if I can clean up that edge again with this. I've just made the edge here messier. Oh man, just a second. Just a second. I'm just making a mess. Excuse me while I make a mess. This is just a dry brush that I grabbed to pick up all of that water there. That was part of my problem. Is that I was trying to pick it up with the one that had paint on it. And that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work. Alright, there we go. That should be a little bit better. Let me just grab a little bit of white here, because I do want this to be kind of thin. There we go. That's better. Just that little detail of the white. Alright, back to my reference image. Shouldn't need it too much for this, but just kind of filling in the areas here. Yeah, my white does not really cover things all that well. It's working okay, I guess, for the little pencil bits. It's like, what am I sticking my arm in? It's just water. It's just water I'm sticking my arm in. Alright. Yeah, I'm gonna I'll have to come back in with the black, I think. There we go. Make that a little bit smoother. Make this one a little bit of a smoother half sphere. Half sphere? Yes. Okay. And I think up here. And the white is kind of uneven, but I'm okay with that. Like I said, I have some of the like canvas color kind of poking through, but I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all. Oh, there's actually some of that medium blue up in the corner. Might have to add that. This is all going to get kind of covered by a bunch of dark blue swigglies. So, and this is going to be a gray color. So that works out. Works out just fine. Yeah. Let's just make sure I have everything covered that I want to be covered, though. I am going to be coming back in with this white a little bit later too, and adding a bunch of dots. Because there's just a bunch of like kind of dotty sea foam that's splashing up. Let me add this mountain though. I'd love to take like a figure drawing class, I think. It's, I'm just not good at drawing people. I feel like that would be a useful class to take. For me, anyways. Because I'm not good at drawing people. I almost stuck that in my tea. That wouldn't have been good. That definitely still has paint in it. Yeah, it still has paint in it, but we'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see here. And it's kind of like little tiny, yeah, I think that's just fine. Cool. Cool. I think that's gonna be fine for the, just fine for the white. So we're gonna go back to doing our dark blue. All right. So what I'm trying to do is get all of the little squiggly bits in the sea foam there, kind of outlined. Get all of those marked out. Which requires me trying to find where everything is systematically. Let's make some of this a little bit bigger, maybe? Alright. Some of it is not actually too bad. I just have to figure out where it is in relation to everything else. Yeah, we might fake some of this a little bit. Try and make it so that it matches stylistically, but it might not be exactly the same. But I do want all of the little bloops. Yeah, man, this is taking all my concentration. Can't have that. Yeah, cause I'm trying to figure out where all these are. Oh man, I just put my finger in my dark blue. I mean, it wouldn't be me painting if I didn't make a mess of myself at some point. Normally I'd wear like clothing that I wouldn't mind getting paint on. I'm wearing a shirt that I actually like, so I'll try to avoid that, but I guess we'll see what happens. I think once I add the light blue, this might end up being okay. It looks a little bit funky at the moment, because it doesn't like quite look like it lines up almost, I feel like. But I think part of that is just, like everything looks kind of disjointed a little bit. But some of that is just not having that blue in there to kind of connect things. There's that. Oh boy. And let's see, little monster claw here, it looks like. This looks like a little hand sticking out. That's this, that's that. There's this. And squiggly here. Yeah, like I said, I think I might end up just faking some of this. Just so that it ends up looking right, but not exactly the same. Which is perfectly fine. Like I said, I'm not doing like a specific Mondrian that I am copying or, you know, emulating. This is just random sort of based on a Mondrian. Like I want it to be recognizable that that's who I'm basing everything on, but it doesn't need to be exactly like one of paintings. And it's not going to be. Like, I'm pretty sure this, like I said, I think this is watercolor. Looks like watercolor. Not acrylic at all. But, put a little bit of the, a little bit closer. Alright, adding our next layer of twisty curlies. I'm just gonna name, like, I think I'll just come up with a different name for these every time I talk about them. My squiggle lines, these blue slashes. Okay. Oh, this is actually supposed to be further up here. Yeah, see, I have things slightly off, which makes it so that it's gonna be slightly off. I'm not gonna be able to do it exactly like it is, just because I don't have things lined up properly as it is. But let's get our color back on there. Yeah, we're just gonna emulate. Oh boy. Yeah, this is definitely the hard part. This is definitely the hard part. I'm gonna move over here for now. This one looks a little bit easier over here. There's kind of a long line here that has little pieces coming off of it. That I can deal with. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that lighter blue is going to kind of tie things together quite a bit and actually make this look like what it's supposed to look like to a certain extent. But let's get... Yeah, I'm just going to fake this. Like I said, I'm not a patient person. There we go. Man, yeah, sorry, it's hard to concentrate and talk at the same time. I'm trying to like keep track of which level I am on here, because there's kind of like different tiers of these squiggles. That is way too even, but that's just the way it's gonna be, I guess. Actually, I think I got most of the ones down there. So let's see if we can do some of the ones up here. So this is cut off. And again, I'm going to do this kind of not exactly how it is. I'm going to do this not exactly how it is, just with the sort of color shapes and rough locations of things in mind. Alright, so let's see here. Oh boy. I do think maybe we could finish this section today, though. Like I said, that is kind of the point of this painting, is that I can do it in multiple sittings, but like one section at a time. What is that? Okay, so that's... yeah, but like, so hopefully, because what spurred this particular painting into happening was that I had a different painting that I let sit for a long time, and hadn't worked on, and I had half of it painted. And then I came back to it, and by the time I'd come back to it, my style was completely different. And so it just didn't end up like lining up it quite right. That's, I think, some of the medium blue. I need to put a little dollop of the medium blue there. So I wanted to do a piece where it didn't matter if my style changed. It didn't matter if I set it down for, you know, half a year, or in this case maybe like, oh, I started this when I was still living with my parents, I'm pretty sure. So that was, I don't know, more than 3 years ago. Probably like 5 years ago at least. So yeah, this, wow, that's weird to think about. This painting's probably like 5 years old at least, possibly more. I should go look and see. Yeah, I just have this section up here left, and then we can add the, actually, how long have I been streaming? Oh, I've been streaming for 2 hours. I think we'll add the rest of these. I'm going to add the light blue color, and then maybe we'll add some of the white dots, but I think I'll leave the boats for another day. Work on them later, because this is going to take a while. So we've still got a bit of time. I'm missing, I need another dollop of blue there. That's what I'm missing. Oh boy. Yeah, I have very, very highbrow commentary here while I'm trying to figure out how to draw like ink lines. Very highbrow. Only the highest brow of comedy. I was yeah, I don't know. I should think on what I want to do next. I mean, so even on this painting, like, there's a lot left that could be done on this painting, because there's so many more squares. Like I said, I'm not sure if I want to do paintings in all of the squares, even for the ones that I'm going to leave kind of white. Find some paintings that have really, really light colors in them and use those for the white squares. I like that idea, I think, because I like the idea of, from far away, just seeing the kind of Mondrian, and then you walk closer and you're just like, oh, it's all different paintings. But do I want to put that much work in? I think I do. But I do need to start thinking of what other paintings I want to use in here. Because that's, there's so many that I could do. I might look up some, like, Michelangelo or something. But, yeah, if people have ideas for paintings that I should definitely use in this, or that you think, just famous paintings, you know, I'm all ears. I'm trying to find ones that either feature mainly red, mainly yellow, or mainly blue, or that are like off-white or white, something where it's very neutral, but like white, because I want to fill in the other squares with that. Oh boy. Oh, that's supposed to be, wait a second here. I'm like, something just does not line up right here. It's because this is supposed to be this color. No wonder it doesn't line up. Ugh, paintbrush. That's better. I mean, really, this should be right there. It just looks like a bunch of like squiggles at the moment. It just looks like a bunch of little squiggles. Yeah, I feel like I should show you where we're at. Actually, I'm gonna do that after I get the last little bit of this dark blue in, because I worry that I'm not going to that it's gonna dry out before I use it. I don't want to have to try and mix it again. There we go. We'll call that good, I think, for that. Gives the illusion that it's coming back down and around. Yeah, I think it's starting to come together. It's starting to come together. Man. What sort of things do you like to paint? There's a question for you, either in the chat or when this inevitably goes up on YouTube if someone watches it. I like painting all sorts of things. I feel like still lifes. Oh, painting suggestions. Water lilies. Oh, Monet, yeah. That'd be a good blue, probably. That is a good one. I'll definitely have to do something by Monet, because that's another well-known one. For sure. Let's put this so that I can kind of see where I'm working here. But Monet is a good one. Oh yeah, like what sort of stuff do you like to paint? Because I like still lifes and stuff. I definitely like doing abstract things. Like I don't know, I like doing abstract stuff. Just because I feel like it's kind of landscapes. Man, I can appreciate a good landscape. Yeah, I should find those landscapes from the art class that I was talking about that we did in oils. It was kind of funny. So we did some en plein air drawings, which is like very, it's kind of a light study, just as much as it's a landscape. Like it's very much just trying to paint. You go from like the darkest to the lightest, and you keep building up more and more as you like add like where there's more and more light type things. And it's very much about how the light feels as opposed to how the light actually looks. And it's just kind of funny because like those were fun because they were very kind of free. Like I went outside and just sat for 2 hours and did a painting. But while I was painting them, man, I hated them right up until I did like the last layer. I was like, oh man, this looks terrible. It's like this is just no good. And then I added like the last like brightest highlights. I'm just like, oh, this is pretty okay actually. It's just kind of funny how that worked out. It's just like, oh man, this is not turning out. It always helps sometimes to just take a step back to here, let's see if I can find a photo of one of my en plein air drawings. Or I might have them on, let's just see if I have that on Instagram. Is that on my Instagram? Okay, here's an example of one that I did. Just looking out from front yard. You can and that was in oils. You can kind of see how the oils layered a little bit, especially like there at the front with the bush. How it kind of pulls the color with it. But there's one of the end plein airs I did for class. This was kind of a warm-up one in my backyard. Oof, let's see if I can make it split. I don't have so much glare. If it'll find it. Come on. There we go. But you go from like the darkest and then you start adding more and more of the, like the lighter colors and stuff, and it kind of picks up some of those underneath darker colors. Just works out really well. Let me see, where was, I might have to look for, I had one that was, we did like 4 end plein air studies in total. Let's see, December 2020, no, we want March 2020. We did 4, we did like, that's what I'm saying, like I always do like such saturated things. Where are we, February? That's probably around March. Oh no, actually it would have been around May. Okay, what was I saying? Yeah, I always do like such saturated things. I guess that's just kind of my style. Here we go. Yeah, this one is kind of funny because I was like, I don't know if I like it as much because the light was coming from behind me, but it ended up being my final one, partially because like everyone in the class liked it. There's that one. You can kind of see, but it's very much a light study and seeing where the light comes from. And then there was one more. We did 2 like little tiny ones as warm-ups. Oh, actually there's a better photo of that one. Man, there's so much glare. We did 2 little warm-ups, and there was that one in my backyard, and then I did a different one, and I was just like, I don't know about this. And then I actually like took a step back from it, and I'm like, oh, that's actually not bad. And that's this one. Like it just looked so, everything kind of blended together. But then like I took a step back and I'm like, oh, you can kind of see like the light down on the path there. Let's see if I can get this closer. Man. Yeah, this one I feel like it looks better from further away. Oh, that's very sweet of you. That's very kind of you to say. But that was kind of the, yeah, man, there was a an artist I saw who had paintings at like a local art fair, and they painted clouds like how clouds feel, and it's just like, oh man, just like, oh man, I love that. But that was kind of the goal of the of that, I think, was to kind of paint how light feels as opposed to it being super accurate type thing. But thank you, that's very nice of you to say. I'm glad that it, I don't know, that's like such a compliment. Maybe I'll have to do, I was thinking about trying to do something like that as a stream, but I don't know how I would do it. Because, you know, part of the, you know, I don't know how I'd set up like a camera equipment for that. Especially if I wanted to do a landscape, because I'd be outside. Don't know how I'd set up for that. But it would be cool. It would be cool if I could. I just don't know how to do it. Yeah, those, I don't know, those were, like I said, those were ones where I'm up until the last second, I'm just like, oh, this is terrible. This looks terrible. I don't know if there's any saving this. And then I added like that last little bit, and I'm like, oh, I like this actually. It's kind of funny how art can be like that sometimes. It's always, there's something about, there's some artists where, like, you know, I'll watch things on YouTube with, where artists will be working on something or whatever, like a sped up version of someone drawing. And I feel like there's some pieces where the artist will be making it and they'll get to a certain point and I'm just like, wow, that looks so finished. And then they'll continue going and they'll add like just some little details. I'm like, wow, that I would have stopped before now, but this just made it so much better. I don't know, there's, I guess, knowing how far to take an artwork and stuff is, I don't know, I guess that's a skill you can build up as well. Just knowing when the piece is done. And you can do that the opposite direction too, and add, just being like futz with it so long that, you know, it's just like, is this good? No, add a little bit more, and then you just end up doing way too much. Okay, I think that's gonna be good for that. We're gonna add our light blue. Oh, what's this? Well, thanks for following the Twitch Authority. Your username sounds like a bot. I think it's the numbers. Thanks for following. We're gonna add our light blue now. And hopefully that will kind of pull some of these little squiggles together. Alright. And I'm hopeful that this pulls some of my blue squiggles together, because I don't know what else is going to. But I think hopefully this will actually start making it look like what it's supposed to be. Because, you know, it's starting to come together, but like you can't really see everything yet. It's very, very busy. I think this should help define the shapes a little bit more, hopefully. So we're going to add our lightest blue. A little bit in here. Let's see, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think lightest blue. We'll do our lightest blue. Maybe the white dots. And then we'll probably call it, depending on what time it is. Like I said, I still have like 2 hours that I could work on stuff, so well, we'll see where we get in that time. But yeah, no, landscapes are fun. I don't know, had I ever done any landscapes before that class? I don't know if I'd done any landscapes before that class. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, it might have been the first time. I'm usually like just sequestered in my room painting like a little gremlin. So it was nice. It was nice doing something I hadn't really done before. Same with learning how to paint with oils. Hadn't done that before, and that was really fun. But yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really fun to do like a landscape painting thing on Twitch, but I need to figure out the logistics of it. I probably could do it depending on where it is. Maybe using my phone a bit, but I don't know. You know, it's one of those logistical things. That's the things that always catch me up, is the logistical stuff. I have to go soon. You have stuff to do. Oh yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. I appreciate it. And if you get back into painting stuff, I'd love to see how it turns out. be almost too bright of a blue, but no going back now. I'm going with it. I'm going with this blue, whether it's the right blue or not. Might be a little bit bright. Yeah! Yeah! There we go. Might have to go back in with some of the dark blue. Fill in some of the spots that I'm accidentally covering up with my light blue. There's that. There's this. But yeah, I feel like this is coming together. I'm kind of excited now. Man, yeah, painting just takes a while. Yeah, got that. Get this. Get this. I'm trying to fill things in as they are. Like, it's not like it's a shadow I mean, it is a shadow, but like I don't know where the light's coming from necessarily because it's so roiling. But I want to try and get things kind of in the same places as they are in the original painting. Just so that it's recognizable, even if it's not exactly the same. Hopefully I won't put my finger in it though, like I just did. There's a whole bunch of blue here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is, trying to get everything lined up. That's way too straight across, I think. But this is actually kind of straight across, so do that. Yeah, it's kind of coming together. Just don't look at it too closely and it's fine. Just don't pay too much attention. It looks great. This might be one of the ones where I take a step back later and it's like, oh, okay, that's actually not too bad. But at the moment I'm just like, that's kind of messy. Kind of messy. Oh, I should have added a little bit up here. We'll add these now, and then I'll add our dark blue again later. Yeah, I missed some of the dark blue lines over on this side, but I will add those afterwards, it looks like. Trying to get, that goes there, this goes up here. Trying to get it all in the right spots. It kind of comes around here. And then actually this section right here is almost entirely filled in with the light blue. So let's do that. Perfect. Yeah, got a little bit here. Yeah, I got so much of the light blue here. Let's I'm watering it down a little bit. It got kind of thick. Okay. Because I want to start going around these as well, because these also have some light blue. This one has actually quite a bit of light blue around it. Maybe a little bit more of a tapering, but that's okay. This one has quite a bit of light blue. Yeah, there's quite a bit of light blue back here, it looks like. Yeah. So we'll do this section. Yeah, I think that works out all right. And there's some in here. Actually, there's some here as well. And a blob here. And then a bunch like kind of underneath our, along our line here. All on this side. Oh man. Yeah, I guess we'll see how this looks. We'll see how this ends up looking. I don't know if I like it yet or not. I'll show you just a second here. Actually, here, I can show you now. I'm just gonna move you. I think that'll be the easiest way to show you so far. So there's the, there it is so far, compared to that. I think it's coming along okay. I think we're getting things in kind of the right, things in pretty much the right spot. Oops. There's that, versus that. But I'm still adding that light blue color. There we go. We can take a look at it again after I finish adding this light blue. Okay, a bunch over here. But yeah, so let's see. Monet is a good one. I think maybe Michelangelo. Another good one to maybe look at for some piece to incorporate into this. Not sure what yet. I'm mostly doing like paintings. I wasn't planning on like painting any sculptures or anything. It wasn't my plan. But you know, I'll never say never, type thing. I think this one actually is part of that, and then this one is, that's that. Okay. There's, some of them are like filled in with the blue, some of them are underneath the blue, and I'm just trying to figure out which ones are which. Just so I can kind of get a sense of how things are structured here. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of surrounded by that light blue at the very top here. Oh boy. Trying to figure out what all is where. Yeah, I'm just gonna fake some of this. Gonna fake some of this. Just so we can move on. Yeah, that part doesn't look great up there, but just don't look too closely and we're fine. Just don't look too closely, we're fine. It's fine. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Right, just that. That actually is all white, but it's blue around it. It's got light blue a little bit in there. Ah. Okay, yeah, there's just lots of little areas here. And like I said, I think I'm going to need to go back in a little bit later with the dark blue. And I'm going to need to add back in some of the lines for that. Because there's lots of little blue lines that I think could probably get added. Yeah, it's definitely messier up here. Let's add some of our white dots and call it, I think. You know, it'll probably be at about 3 hours then. Seems like a reasonable amount of time. Okay, let me get my white paint. I kind of had it spread out, so it was drying out over here. Add some white dots. Let me just start maybe with these ones. And I'm trying to like kind of follow the where these are. Oh, there's actually some lighter blue dots there. I'll just do them in white though. That's fine. This I can water down a little bit because it's getting kind of thick. And I want to be able to do dots. It's hard to do the dots if it's super thick because it doesn't even stick to the canvas. Okay. Go along the bottom here. Dot, dot, dot. Yeah. I think this will help. I think adding these dots will help actually kind of make this look like it's supposed to. Because there's a certain amount of like, I think it's very stylized, and I think this is definitely part of the style of it. Get some more paint on my brush. Trying to add small ones. Try to add small ones when there's a whole bunch of paint on the brush. Takes a very delicate hand, which I don't necessarily have. But I think we're getting there. Yeah, I think that's kind of pretty. I like that with the dots. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do some more dots. Let me show you. Let me show you how it's looking. You see the dots down there? Dots down there in the corners. I think that's looking good. I think that adds to it. We definitely still need to do the gray up here in the corner and the yellow of the boats. But it's coming together. There we go. Let's line that back up again. I'm just going to go through and do all of the dots now, because I'm enjoying that. And it's not nearly as precise as the other stuff that I was trying to do. Okay, let's see here. Dot. Bop, 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 bop. Again, very, very highbrow commentary with my bop, bop, bop. I'm gonna bop all the way to the top. Boop. And there's a few in here. Oh, they're maybe not quite as highlighted as the ones here. And add a little bit more water here, because again, it's getting kind of dry and thick. Alright. Okay. I am trying to follow kind of the basic pattern of the dots, because there is like a little bit of a pattern to it. And like it's a pattern that's supposed to look random, I would say, but sometimes the lighter one has more dots, sometimes the darker one has more dots. I'm trying to kind of follow that. And there's like lines of dots, try to do that. And they're kind of spread out, try to do that. Let's see, this one has like a big dot, so let's do that. It's almost harder to do the small dots, actually. And there's some up here. Oops, didn't mean to do that big of a dot, but I did, so it's there now. That's okay. My hand's just a little bit shaky, which doesn't make this all that easy. Yeah. That's nice though. I think the dots are nice. A good little touch. Yeah, things are slightly off here, but that's okay. And I think we're almost done. So we've got those. We've got just a few dots on this one. Just a couple dots up here. And a couple dots over here. Yeah, I really like that. If I ever do like some sort of stylized waves or something for just myself, I might steal the idea of the little dots. I really like that. I don't know, just add something to it. It's almost like bubbles. It adds, I don't know, I guess maybe it is bubbles. Kind of adds that sort of watery ocean bubble feel to it. I don't know, it works. It just works. And a few more little dots. There. And the dots that are in the gray we'll have to add after I paint the gray in. But let's see how that looks so far. And actually I just noticed there's a little bit light blue up here. And again, I'm going to have to go back in with the dark blue and add in some more of the lines because this is kind of a mess at the moment. But let me show you. Let me show you with all of the dotty dots compared to what the reference photo. So there's that versus the reference photo. You know, I feel like looking at it up close for me, I'm like, oh man, this is kind of a mess. But like looking at it on camera here, it's like, oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad. I still need to add like all of the boat stuff. Oh, I did just realize that I need to do the light blue up in this section here. We'll do that. Set the light blue there. And we'll probably be able to call this good for now. Okay. And there's some light over here. Yeah. Alright. Cool. Yeah. I think this is coming along. So I still need to do the boats, the gray section over here, and a little bit more of the dark blue to kind of solidify some of these areas that are a little bit messy at the moment. But I think it's coming along. So that's exciting. I think I am going to call it for today, just because my hand is cramping. But thank you for hanging out for a little bit. I will be streaming again Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I do stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and then Saturdays at noon Pacific Standard Time. So if you ever want to come hang out, I do mostly resin stuff, and I will see you then.